For generations, humanity's endeavors to reach beyond the confines of our atmosphere have been bound to an incredibly expensive and inherently volatile methodology: the use of chemical rockets. Breaking free from the gravitational pull of the planet requires a massive, violent release of energy, necessitating that every modern launch consume roughly $6 million in specialized propellant.
What if instead of burning a rocket, you just rode a cable straight up? That's not science fiction anymore.
To compound this economic inefficiency, the overwhelming majority of the delivery vehicle is completely obliterated or discarded during its ascent, transforming millions of dollars of precision engineering into atmospheric debris or ocean salvage with every mission. This has remained the unchallenged paradigm of space exploration for nearly a century. Yet, a revolutionary alternative threatens to disrupt this status quo entirely. Imagine a reality where instead of riding a controlled explosion into the heavens, you could simply board an electromagnetic transport vehicle and ascend quietly along an ultra-strong tether, stretching directly into the cosmos.
From inside the hull, it feels like a submarine. That's exactly what it is. Designed to survive the equatorial ocean for 100 years.
The visionary architects at Japan's premier construction conglomerate, famed for erecting some of the tallest terrestrial structures in the world, including Tokyo's iconic observation towers, have finalized plans to extend human architecture directly into the vacuum of space. Their blueprint details a staggering 100,000-kilometer structural ribbon, anchored by a massive, dynamically positioned marine terminal floating in equatorial waters, targeting full operational status by the year 2055. This orbital elevator system relies exclusively on electricity to drive its climbing vehicles, systematically eliminating the need for volatile chemical fuels, single-use hardware, and the constant threat of explosive failure. However, the viability of the entire enterprise depends on a single, extraordinary material that has never been manufactured at a commercial scale. Deep within the research facilities of Shizuoka University, scientists are aggressively testing advanced carbon molecular configurations in the microgravity environment of the International Space Station. This critical orbital test sample represents the definitive threshold separating an ambitious conceptual drawing from an active, planet-altering construction site. The physical construction of this unprecedented gateway begins far from the launch pad, inside a highly advanced domestic shipyard. Here, automated industrial machinery utilizes high-definition plasma cutters to slice through massive 45mm thick structural steel plates with microscopic accuracy. Each massive sheet is mechanically bent to conform to the exact curved radius of a colossal 420-meter-wide floating ring that will form the backbone of the ocean-bound Earthport. The internal architecture of this floating island is comprised of 28 independent, fully isolated watertight chambers. Welders work around the clock to permanently seal each individual compartment before fabrication on the adjacent section is allowed to commence. Every single chamber undergoes rigorous pressure and flood testing prior to leaving the dry dock, because a single structural breach or weld failure could cause the entire multi-billion-dollar port to founder.
Every tremor, every oscillation of this colossal tower is tracked in real time by thousands of digital sensors.
Section by section, the massive steel ring expands, with every single structural joint aligned to an exacting tolerance of less than 1.5 millimeters. Specialized deep-sea welders operate beneath the surface to secure the primary foundation joints, applying structural seals engineered to withstand the corrosive forces of open ocean currents for half a century. Inside each of the 28 distinct compartments, massive structural ring frames are integrated every 2.5 meters. The outer hull cannot be permitted to flex or distort under stress, or the central cable mounting mechanism would experience catastrophic alignment failure. To stabilize this massive marine terminal against the immense dynamic tension generated by the space elevator ribbon, engineers pump 52,000 tons of heavy ballast concrete into the lowest cells of the base structure.
Equatorial storms don't stop for the deck crew. Every operation is managed from this command center permanently.
A network of 16 highly responsive, multi-directional propulsion pods is integrated directly into the perimeter of the hull, giving the 420-meter ring the ability to actively steer and maintain its exact coordinates in the turbulent waters of the open ocean. The upper flight and logistics deck is installed during the final phases of dry dock construction, utilizing prefabricated modular sections that are lowered into place, meticulously aligned via laser tracking, bolted down, and welded completely flush. Heavy-duty ballast management lines are routed from the depths of the hull directly into a centralized, high-tech control room, with technicians manually fitting every valve, manifold, and pressure flange by hand to eliminate any potential points of mechanical failure. Because this floating installation will support what is destined to be the tallest physical object on Earth, it serves as an inescapable lightning rod for atmospheric electricity. Consequently, an intricate array of heavy-gauge lightning conductors rings the entire perimeter of the upper deck to safely dissipate massive electrical discharges. The marine anchoring system alone is an unprecedented feat of metallurgy, utilizing 7,500 tons of high-tensile alloy steel chains forged to secure the platform to the ocean floor. When the completed hull finally leaves the shipyard, moving out into international waters for the very first time, the primary terminal tower begins its ascent from the dead center of the floating ring. Upon arrival, a massive crane transfers the climber to the terminal guide rails, where technicians carefully thread the carbon nanotube ribbon through the vehicle's central slot. The magnetic grippers close, the ground-based laser locks onto the receiver panels, and the motor units spin up, sending the first climber smoothly up into the sky. To fully reinforce the space elevator, an armada of over 550 specialized reinforcement climbers must run around the clock for years. Each vehicle carries a fresh spool of carbon nanotube ribbon, systematically layering and bonding the new material onto the expanding core, while the port control room monitors altitude, velocity, and bond quality in real time.
The payload consists of 25 tons of carbon nanotube ribbon ready to ride a rocket to orbit.
If a substandard bond is detected, the climber automatically halts, reverses course, and re-executes the section. As climbers complete their journeys and return to the ocean dock, maintenance crews rapidly swap out worn rollers, recalibrate sensitive telemetry instruments, and clear them for another ascent. When an operational satellite's orbit threatens to intersect the path of the cable, the Earthport's powerful marine thrusters fire, introducing a controlled wave along the ribbon that swings it safely clear of the hazard. Over the course of a 15-year construction window, the ribbon transforms dramatically. By year 7, the original seed cable has thickened sufficiently to allow factories to retool for significantly wider ribbons, requiring workers to upgrade the terminal's guide rollers to accommodate the expanding bore. By year 13, the final layers of high-thickness ribbon are applied, turning the once fragile thread into a robust mega highway capable of routinely supporting 120-ton cargo loads. While this reinforcing process takes place, construction of the massive geostationary orbital station occurs simultaneously. Modules are initially launched via conventional rockets, a profound irony not lost on the engineers, who recognize they are using the old paradigm of space travel to build the very machine that will render it obsolete. As these orbital modules dock 35,800 kilometers above the planet, control room operators verify the integrity of each mechanical lock. The orbital station features a massive rotating gravity ring assembled in precise segments. When spun, it generates artificial gravity equivalent to the environment of Mars, providing a vital long-term research habitat for crews preparing for deep space missions. Massive solar array trusses are delivered by the climbers, unfolding automatically in the vacuum of space to provide clean, limitless power to the burgeoning orbital city. Human technicians travel up the completed cable to the geostationary station, working demanding 9-day shifts in microgravity to manually install internal life support systems, environmental controls, and routing infrastructure. Specialized low-friction cable guide bearings are integrated throughout every single level of the station, ensuring the rapidly moving ribbon can pass completely through the center of the massive orbital architecture without ever making direct physical contact with the hull. At the very top of the system, situated at an altitude of 100,000 kilometers, a colossal 14,000-ton counterweight is assembled block by block. Delivered systematically by cargo climbers, These heavy modules are anchored far beyond geostationary orbit, leveraging the centrifugal force of Earth's rotation to pull the entire cable outward and keep it perfectly taut. With the infrastructure finalized, the first dedicated passenger climber undergoes exhaustive integration, outfitted with comfortable seating, advanced life support systems, and reinforced observation viewports. Every operational procedure, from passenger boarding to emergency containment, is rehearsed repeatedly at the marine terminal until the process is as streamlined, safe, and routine as boarding a commercial cruise liner. The voyage itself is a breathtaking 9-day journey of transformation. Day 1 sees the passenger vehicle silently whispering through the dense layers of the blue atmosphere. By Day 3, the vehicle navigates the intense radiation environments of the Van Allen belts. And by Day 9, the climber gently approaches the geostationary terminal. Throughout every single meter of the ascent, marine port controllers monitor cabin pressures, structural loads, and the alignment of the ground-based power beam. As the climber arrives at the orbital city, a massive mechanical docking arm extends, secures the vehicle, and confirms a flawless pressure seal. The hatch swings open, allowing passengers to casually step out of an elevator car and into a bustling space station located tens of thousands of kilometers above their home planet. The era of the space elevator is no longer a distant dream. The Earthport operates as a bustling international travel terminal. The geostationary city thrives as a hub of science and industry, and multiple climbers traverse the ribbon simultaneously. Satellites and interplanetary vessels are now deployed into deep space with zero flames, zero noise, and zero throwaway hardware. By slashing the astronomical cost of orbital insertion from thousands of dollars per kilogram down to a mere $12, this triumph of human engineering completely rewrites the future of our species, opening the door to sustainable, unlimited exploration of the stars.